readers, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I've got another book talk video to share with you guys. And today we're going to be talking about If Only by Melanie Murphy. Now, Melanie Murphy is a YouTuber. She has a channel that I've loved for a few years now. Some of the videos on the channel are geared more towards younger women, maybe women in their early to mid-20s, of which I am not of that demographic and haven't been for a while, but the videos that do resonate with me very much. And there's just something about her personality. She's very warm, very welcoming. It feels like you're sitting down listening to a friend, and that's something that I love in a YouTube channel. I like that kind of personality-driven, intimate feeling. Now, when I had heard that Melanie put out her first novel, I was very excited to read it. This isn't the first book she's put out. She put out another book a couple of years ago, I think, called Fully Functioning Human Almost, but that's more nonfiction. And I didn't read that one, only because I'm more into novels. I like to read stories, as you know. But when this came out, I couldn't wait to read it, and I finally got my hands on it at Christmas. And now, speaking of Christmas, at that time on Twitter, she had this very cute sort of contest going where if you had purchased the book, you could email her, and if you had like a receipt to show, you could send your address and she would send you a Christmas card. And I got one of those. So cute. And it's just such a thoughtful, nice thing to do. Like, inside of the card, there's a sweet, personalized, handwritten note from Melanie that touches on things I had said in the email. So, you know, she wasn't just writing these out and sending them out. She was putting a personal touch on them. And I saw in her December vlog, like, she had a good stack of them. So that had to take her a bit of time. And it's just that time and effort that is so touching. But anyway, let's talk about the actual story. Now, I have to say that this book was better than I thought it was going to be. And I don't mean that in any sort of negative way. I don't mean that I thought it wasn't going to be good. Or I wouldn't have been excited to pick it up and read it. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I don't know if it maybe had something to do with the cover, which, as we all know, we shouldn't be judging books by covers, but maybe it was something about the cover that made me feel like it was going to be a little cutesier, a little cheesier, but it wasn't. Not at all. Even the ending. When I got to the ending, I was like, okay, how's she going to end this without it going to that place? And she pulled it off, and I love that, because I don't like it when things get too cutesy, and it doesn't. It keeps a realness to it that I really loved and appreciated. Right off the bat, this isn't an entirely unique idea. It's about a girl who, on her 30th birthday, she receives from her grandmother a necklace that has been in her family for many, many generations. And the thing about this necklace is, when you focus on it, hold a thought in your mind, if only, and then finish the thought, it will take you to that reality where you can spend a day in the life of yourself if you had made a different choice. Okay, you following me? Like, say for instance, when we first meet her, she's recently out of a long-term relationship, and she's having second thoughts as to whether or not she did the right thing. So at one point she uses the necklace her grandmother gave her, and she says, if only Dan and I hadn't broken up. And she's able to travel there to an alternate dimension where that's the reality, and see what it would be like. And there are other stories that have used this sort of premise. One of my favorites, though different, there's all slightly different spins on it, but my favorite is About Time, which is a movie that I love so much. Rachel McAdams is in it. A ton of fantastic actors are in it. And in that one, it's sort of reversed. It's the males of the family, and they get to time travel and see different things. So it's a premise that I really love, and I love the way that she handled it. So like I said, it's this necklace that she got from her grandmother, and the thing about it is you only have 7 sights, is how it's worded in the book. So you only have 7 opportunities to see seven different potential paths that you could have taken. And when Erin is first given this gift from her alcoholic 80-plus-year-old grandmother, she of course thinks, okay, well, the time has finally come. This woman's going mad. So she decides to use the first sight right off the bat. And she kind of uses it without too much thought put into it. And so the first sight that she uses is, if only I had stuck to, you know, my diet and exercise routine when I was younger. And so she gets taken to this place where now she's got, you know, the killer body that she's always dreamed of. But as that time goes on, as she's living out that day, she sees that, you know, that's not perfect either, which of course is the lesson that she's to learn throughout all of these days. Grass isn't always greener, it's just different grass. And in that first sight, she, you know, she's got the body that she dreams of, but as the day goes on, she learns that, you know, she's got a bit of disordered eating, she barely eats, she exercises too much, you know. It's that consumes her life. Everything, every choice she makes throughout the day, in that version of reality, is based around food and exercise, and, you know, there's no real enjoyment of anything. Anyway, before we get any further into this book, I want to tell you that if you don't want spoilers, now's the time to click away. I recently had a comment on one of my book talk videos, one of my older ones, where someone said that I had spoiled the book for them. And I'm always careful to try to give a warning before, but I guess for this person, it didn't come early enough, or I didn't say it at all. And I always hope that calling these book talks instead of book reviews will give you the idea that we're getting more in depth into it. So click away if you don't want the spoilers. I don't want to ruin any books for any people. So now that they're gone, let's get back into it. So she uses, first of all, her grandmother won't really answer any questions about the necklace and the sight. She won't really tell Erin about how she used it. She won't answer any questions about it. She's kind of like, no, you know, you have to figure this all out on your own, which is a lot, you know, that's a lot. And so her grandmother lives back in Ireland, and Erin now lives in London. She's living there, working as a waitress, but also working on a blog that she hopes to build an audience for. She has a roommate named Rachel and a best friend named Reed, and eventually, fairly early on, she runs into an old friend from back in Ireland, a man named Finn. And they had known each other in high school, but they kind of drifted apart because they were never that close to begin with. So we're getting to know all of these people in Erin's life. She's using the site a few times here and there. There's this guy that visits the coffee shop where she works that she's really attracted to, and she wants to know what it would be like if they were together. Like, would they have a good relationship? So she uses the site to try that out for a day. Turns out, no, he's not looking for a relationship, and though they have fun together, she's just one of many women he's seeing. And, you know, he doesn't hide that from her. He's very upfront about it, but still, that's not what she's looking for. Then she uses the site to see what it would be like if she had married the boyfriend that she broke up with, Dan. They were in a long-term relationship, and they were engaged, and she wonders if it would have been a good relationship. So she uses the site to check that out. Turns out, nope, it was just more of the same. You know, the reasons she left him, well, now they're the things that annoy her as she's married to him. From there, there's a lot of time spent building the relationships, the interpersonal relationships with Erin and her friends. And there's a bit of a love triangle, kind of, not really, but kind of, that's the best way to put it, between Finn and Erin's roommate, and then Finn and Erin. because Finn, when he knew Erin when they were in high school, he had a big crush on her. And she never really reciprocated it, and so now Finn knows that she likes this guy that she sees at the coffee shop, and she's probably not interested in him, so he starts seeing her roommate Rachel. And then as time goes by, Erin's kind of like, she starts to develop feelings for him, but now he's with Rachel, so that storyline has to get all figured out. At this point too, she finds out that Finn has a daughter, that he was previously married and that he has a daughter. And it was funny because earlier on in the book, Finn kept trying to tell her something. There were a few times, 2 or 3 times, when I saw Finn would start to try to tell her something and she would cut him off and start talking about something else. So throughout the book, I kept waiting for that reveal because I was like, okay, Finn's got some news that Erin won't let him tell her. So then eventually he does, and it's that he has a daughter. And so at one point, Erin thinks that she might like to try out the site to see what, you know, if there's any dimension where her and Finn are together. And but then she stops herself. She's like, no, I don't want to know, because if the answer is no, then that's painful. So, you know, she's used it 3 times, but now she's starting to understand that the grass isn't always greener, and sometimes not knowing is better than knowing, because sometimes knowing is just painful. And that's all there is to it. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. And then for the final spoiler, Erin at one point breaks her phone, and then she finds out after a couple of days that her father had been desperately trying to get a hold of her because her grandmother died. And like, that broke my friggin' heart, because Erin and her grandmother were thick as thieves. Like, her mother died when she was young, so her grandmother was the mother figure for her. And yeah, that just broke my heart when her granny died. And so she goes home to Ireland, and all of her friends, Finn included, go back home with her to support her. And it's during then that they reconnect, and later she finds out that Finn called things off with Rachel, kind of mutually. Both of them weren't really into it. Rachel wasn't crazy about Finn. She was just kind of, he was there, he was nice, he was cute, so she was just dating him. So it wasn't a huge letdown for Rachel when Finn's kind of like, this isn't really working. So, and then we see the book ends, again, spoilers. The book ends with Erin using the site, presumably, possibly one last time. And she was supposed to go home to see her grandmother, but she canceled the flight home because she was going to be moving home. She was tired of London. She's like, you know what? I'm going to cancel the trip home because soon afterwards I'm just going to move home. And so her grandmother knew this and all that. But she didn't make it home before her grandmother died. And for her final time using the site, or at least the final time we see her use it, it's to go to a if only where she did go home to see her. And when she goes home, her grandmother's being very much her grandmother, you know, foul-mouthed, drunk. And she notices that Erin has the necklace on. And her granny knew that she was only going to wear that when she used it. So her grandmother kind of puts the pieces together that you're here because I've passed on. And Erin's like, yeah. And that also reminds me of About Time, because at one point when the main character goes back to see his dad, his dad also puts the pieces together. It was great, and the book just kind of ends with her back to see her grandmother, and her just saying, you know, I'm just going to enjoy it while I can, because she only has one day, and you know, she wants to make the most of it, and that's kind of how it ends. So like I say, there's not much. It's not too cutesy, it's not too cheesy, if that's not what you, not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just for my personal taste, it's not what I love. And there's none of that in here. Even with the romance and the friendships, it's all I just love how it's written. I thought it was great. I think the story's well told. The first few pages, I will say though, were kind of, I don't even know what the word is, but I was kind of like, ooh, is this going to be a bit of a rough ride? But it wasn't. It's smoothed out beautifully, and from there on, it was just lovely. Well written, an interesting story, likable characters, and just overall, I was very pleased with it. So I would definitely recommend If Only by Melanie Murphy. Would recommend. So there you go, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this book talk video. Check out Melanie's channel while you're at it. I'll put a link to it down below. Like I said, some of her videos are targeted towards younger women, which I know some of you are younger women. And but there's also plenty for if you're, you know, older like I am. I'm 38, and I find plenty to enjoy on her channel, especially her vlogs. I love her vlogs. Yeah, so there you go. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you very soon. Bye.